Hi everyone, welcome to tonight's Facebook Live. Let's see if we could get some people on. I'm going to set up our decks. I have a few different ones here. So while we're waiting for some people to hop on, I'm going to get that set up. And if you are here watching this live, definitely leave a comment so that I can know that you're here. And if you're new to my YouTube channel, if you're watching this on my YouTube or on my Facebook, my name is Julianne Fay, and I'm a certified angel card reader as well as a professional astrologer. And I love doing Facebook Lives. So I do Facebook Lives twice a month for cards. That's my Cards for the Collective series. And then I also do lots of astrology walkthroughs throughout the month. I have my Stars with the Stars series, and I also do astro walkthroughs for the new and full moon. So if you go on my Facebook business page, which is facebook.com/JulianneFay888, it should be linked in this video, or if you're watching on YouTube, it should be in the description there. You can mark interested or going on the events that I have coming up every month, and you can also see and the links to sign up for my email newsletter, follow me on Instagram, all kinds of good stuff. So I'm thinking to do a pick a card video for this week's Cards for the Collective. So I'm going to set up 3 different piles, and I'm going to use cards from each of these different decks. So let's see, what messages do we need for people for pile number 1? Normally I do this before I get on the live, but I know it was a little bit later, so I just kind of wanted to hop on, see if we could get some people on and do this at the same time. So pile number 1 peeps, pile number 2 peeps, pile number 3 peeps, all right. You guys can't see what I'm doing, but I'm setting up the pile. Pile number 1 peeps, pile number 2 peeps, got 2 cards for pile number 2, and pile number 3 peeps. So tonight I'm using Stacey DeMarco's Queen of the Moon Oracle. I'm also using Robert Reeves' Flower Therapy cards. I'm also going to be using the Lenormand deck, which you have to read in pairs. This particular style of pulling cards, you cannot pull just one card. Let's see, what do we need to know for pile number 1, people? And pile number 1, people. Pile number 2, people. Pile number 3, people. Pile number 3, people. All right. And I'm also using Magical Messages from the Fairies by Dorian Virtue. So pile number 1, people. What do pile number 1 people need to see, hear, feel, and understand right now? Pile number 2, people. What do pile number 2 people need to see, hear, feel, and understand right now? So if you're here, definitely leave a comment so that I can say hello. Pile number 2 people and pile number 3 people. What do pile number 3 people need to know right now? Good stuff. Okay. Very good. So I'm going to set up a container. I'm going to use my triple pointed amethyst. I want to clear any and all negative energy from this field. I want to infuse with white light. I want to call on the Ascended Masters Hilarion, Babi G, Kuan Yin, Buddha, Krishna, Vishnu, Sarasvati, Parvati. I want to call on Isis, Ganesha, Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, Jesus, and I'm also hearing, I believe, Anna, who is the grandmother figure in the biblical story of Jesus. And I want to call in my guardian angels and my guides. I want to call in the guardian angels and guides of people watching this live or on replay. I want to call on spirit animals, totem animals, power animals of God's white light. And I also want to call on ancestors of God's white light that are willing and able to assist in this space. So with that, our energetic circle is open. So business updates. I would say I have been working on my website behind the scenes. I've been working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes for my business. So right now I'm really encouraging people to sign up for my email newsletter because I'm investing a lot of hours, a lot of love into putting those newsletters together. And they're a great resource for you to get access to special discounts that I'm doing, all the latest in my blog posts or my lives, videos that I've done, any type of new content that I've done. I am, explaining that or showcasing that in the email newsletters, as well as sometimes providing information just within that newsletter for the subscribers. So I'm definitely encouraging people to sign up for that. If you're not on my email newsletter list, you can go to the link, my website, in the description of this video here on Facebook or on YouTube. And it should say website/sign up for my newsletter or just sign up for my newsletter. And on the home page, there's a spot where you can put your name and your email. So sign up for that so you're on the list. And wanted to say that. And we are at the end of a month here. So I always like to talk about my monthly things that I do, which is my Fearlessly Fairy membership, where you can join and get access to weekly card pulls, as well as a journaling focus document, a private Facebook group, and a discount on personalized readings with me. That's a month-to-month, cancel anytime subscription. It's really, really great, very affordable. Also, I do customized moon reports. So in any given month, I do an astrology recording for the new and full moons of that month so that you're able to get personalized information for that astrological moon month cycle customized to your natal chart. So those are two great options that I offer monthly that are more affordable card and astrology services. And I always like to talk about those at the end of the month into the beginning of a new month because it's most appropriate then. That's my dog, Monty. What else do I want to say? I think that's everything as far as business updates go. I'm not going to go into too much astrology in the beginning of this video because I've been doing a lot more astrological walkthrough lives. So I would encourage you to mark interested or going on those, watch those, and also you'll see them on my YouTube and in my email newsletter. So definitely recommend that. So I think without further ado, let's get into this pick a card. So it looks like we don't really have anybody on. If you're watching this on replay though, please still leave comments. I love going back and looking at the comments of people that watched. Comment with the number of the card pile that you picked and how it resonated for you, all that good stuff. And we're going to jump in. So I have 3 piles set up here. So you're going to pick a number between 1 and 3. So 1, 2, or 3. Okay. All the piles are going to look the same, but I'm still going to hold them up so that energetically you can feel into them. So this is pile number 1. So if you'd like to pick pile number 1, this is the energy of pile number 1. And you'll be able to just kind of tell, is it calling to you? Do you feel intuitively drawn to that particular pile? This is pile number 2. If you feel energetically drawn to this pile number 2. And then pile number 3. This is the energy of pile number 3. If you feel energetically drawn to this pile number 3. So I'm going to make a decision of what pile is speaking to me. Which I'm having trouble deciding myself. Okay. So go ahead and leave in the comments the pile number that you pick, 1, 2, or 3. Once again, this is pile number 1. This is pile number 2. And this is pile number 3. So go ahead, feel free to pause the video if you need to tune in 1, 2, or 3, which pile you'd like to listen to, and we're going to get right into it. So pile number 1, if you picked pile number 1, these are the messages for you, pile number 1. So we have, from Magical Messages from the Fairies, Healing, Healed, and Healer. Healing energy surrounds. I've gotten into a bad habit of looking at the words, which I used to not do, and I've kind of been getting back into it. So I'm trying to avoid that. But essentially, this card is saying that there's a lot of healing energy here. This could definitely be that you're being helped from your spirit guides, angels, ancestors. You can almost see this like divine intervention in the skies. This also has a lot of crown chakra energy, which is related to connection to God, source, the universe, whatever you believe in. So this is definitely like a communion with God and your angels and being helped and supported by the divine. So this is a really good card, a very encouraging card that you're being helped and supported. We also have purification white rose. So this is about energy clearing. And this could definitely be that some of the past pain and the struggles that you've been going through, they're now beginning to clear away. This card also carries the energy of reminding you that it is important to clear your energy. So this could be a really good reminder card for you about bringing in clearing energy tools into your space. Actually bringing in white roses, maybe looking at purifying your diet, or even just one day of I promise he's not as fierce as he sounds. Even just one day of more smoothies and liquids in your diet will start to really help you, Hold on one second, guys. Okay. All right, so purification for pile number 1, healing, healed, healer. These are good positive cards. We also have, resistance. This card means that sometimes this could literally be like there's been a lot of resistance, a lot of struggle, a lot of stress in your life. This card traditionally means that you're holding on to something very tightly, and this could also be a card of like a lot of imbalance, a lot of frustration, a sense of lack, or just like a sense of tightness in your body and your chest. I'm actually feeling that. But positioning this card around these cards is really telling me that a lot of this stress and this frustration you are being helped, and that this is beginning to subside, especially as you are purifying these sources of stress and stepping into new energies, because there's new healing energy coming in. So this is a pile that's like confirming the stress that you've been through, but also indicating that you're moving in a positive direction. And we really see that with the Lenormand cards. So we have birds, number 12, which this card is all about. These cards come up so good on video. I just love it. This is all about communication. So this could be you communicating something. This could be news coming in, some type of communication or some type of like verbal contract or awareness that's coming into play. Definitely a lot of air energy, a lot of air element. And then we also have ring, number 25. So this indicates a commitment. So, if you're thinking about a relationship with this could definitely be like an air sign or air energy coming in, kind of showing up, being more committed. But in particular, this could also be like some type of communication you've had, maybe about a project, a job, a person, a place, a thing. I'm getting the sense that somebody has something going on with like housing, or wanting to sell a house or move a house. There's something going on there. So this is indicating that like the communication, the negotiations that are going on with these things that you want to help heal and purify your situation, they're really working, because we have this committed card. This is saying like somebody's put a ring on it, so this is like a commitment card. So putting this all together is actually very good, because it's affirming kind of where you've been, right? And why you need all of this change in your life, because there is a lot of tension and there is a need for stress relief. And overall, I think this is like a very purifying time, with everything that's going on there. And you're moving into a place of greater healing, greater commitment. But the key thing that's going on right now is communication, And as we are in this very beginning of Mercury retrograde, Mercury goes retrograde on Halloween, make sure that you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's, that you're reading between the lines, that you're rereading things, Mercury retrograde it sort of like supercharges our perception of Mercury. So it makes it such that we overlook things, or like we might not behave or act like as rationally as we normally would, Hi Brandy, so good to see you. So I'm doing a pick a card, and I've just finished the cards for pile number 1. So pick a number between 1, 2, and 3, And if you want to listen to pile number 1, you can go back and rewatch from the beginning. So those were the messages for pile number 1, peeps. I hope that was helpful for you. I really like those cards. I'll give you a quick sec to pick a card pile, Brandy, if you'd like. So it's 3 piles, pile number 1, 2, or 3. And I just finished doing the card pulls for pile number 1. So if you picked pile number 2, I'm going to get into it. These are your cards for you. We have Blossoming Flower Moon. This is a beautiful card, almost like a continuation of the energy of what was from pile number 1, you know, with a lot of this moving forward energy. I'm also really drawn to the woman playing, I think that's a violin. So this is like a lot of creative energy. You're playing your tune. It's like you've been singing your tune. So now, you know, we're really moving into this like more creative energy of creation and playing with things. Also, I'm noticing that this is a full moon card. So it might be that a lot of the manifestation of this is coming to more full form by the upcoming full moon in Taurus. We just had a new moon in Scorpio last night. So this is saying that we definitely have more of this full moon energy that's going to bring more of this creativity, more of this beauty into your life. We have Open Your Heart, Red Rose. So this is your potential for greater love rests in opening your heart. Blockages and wounds from your past will be healed and you'll be met with the true passion you seek. It's interesting because it's such a beautiful card. It's interesting because I had a lot of biblical guides coming in when I started this video. So I had Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, Jesus, and then I also had, I believe her name is Anna, the grandmother of Jesus. So if this pile was calling to you, I definitely feel like it's a strong indicator for you to work with some of the ascended masters from like the biblical and Babylonian times. So look into some things with that. And there are definitely people I would recommend to do that. So look up Trisha McCannon is a wonderful author that's written a lot about Jesus and the Essenes. I think there is a book called Jesus and the Essenes. Also, there's books about Jesus that from a spiritual perspective that have been written by Dolores Cannon. They have similar names. Trisha McCannon and Dolores Cannon are 2 authors I would really recommend for learning more about Jesus from a spiritual and metaphysical perspective, not necessarily like a straight up religious perspective. But this card is interesting too because in pile number 1, we also had the white rose. So we have the white rose and the red rose coming through in these piles. So a lot of opening of the heart chakra, a lot of loving energy, leading with love is kind of present here. As my Monty Boo is right underneath this video wanting some extra pets. We have Patience, Begonia. Your prayers have been heard and they are being answered. Always love this card. So this is saying to lead with love and to be patient. You know, we had energy in the first pile that was about a lot of new commitments coming in. And whenever we bring something new into our life, like a new relationship or a new job or a new project or like a new space to live in or whatever it might be for you, you know, it's not exactly aligned right away. And I'm getting like the image and the reminder of when you move in somewhere, you know, there's a process you have to go through. You have to kind of clean the space first. You have to move your stuff into the space. Then you have to organize your stuff. And it probably takes you a couple months before you feel fully settled with like the ins and outs of living there and how things work, you know. So any type of new relationship that you step into does require some patience, you know, for you to kind of figure out how things work with that. So this is saying to also have patience with yourself because this is like a lot about patience and self-love here. We also have card number 5, the tree. So this is definitely the energy of money and change, but also rooting. So this is saying that, you know, it's interesting because we have blossoming here, which is almost like about a glow up or like growing up, right? But then we also have the tree card here, which is about your ancestors and grounding and rootedness. So this is saying that you are growing, but it's like you're growing down as well as up at the same time. So what I'm getting is the sense that sometimes you might not feel like you're growing up as visibly as you would like to see, and that's because the roots are also growing down into spaces that you can't see. Like, both are happening at the same time, and sometimes it's hard to see, like, energetically where the progress is, but sometimes, like, even if progress is invisible, that doesn't mean it's not happening, you know? We also have child, number 13. So this definitely carries the energy of a child. This could be a child in your life or an inner child. This is something to a 4 in numerology, which is about angels and stable foundations. So what I'm getting from this is that this could be you providing a more stable foundation for your own inner child, or providing a more stable foundation for children in your life. This could also be like bringing in the energy of ancestors to help your inner child or children in your life. And again, those messages there of open your heart to love and patience, you know. Good, I'm glad it resonates, Brandy. And then we have pregnancy. The birth of a child brings great blessings to you in the world. Now, this doesn't have to mean literally getting pregnant. This can be, you know, if we kind of like cover up those words, what do you see, right? This is definitely like the energy of the Empress. This is a very fertile time, a very blossoming time, but sometimes things are still in the womb. So that's kind of why you have some of these messages here about patience and opening your heart to love. It's like, it's again, it's a little bit hidden, right? Something that's growing inside of the belly. We don't always see all of the, like, the toenails being formed or like the eyelashes being formed. We don't see that because that's behind the scenes. It's literally in the womb. So sometimes these little details are being added to the story, but we don't see that. So it's important to not like poo-poo it or curse it or try to say like, be frustrated with it. I don't want you to say that you should dismiss your feelings, but it's that as something is developing and growing, to be patient with the process of how it develops and grows, because it takes time for these little details to get added until it becomes like a full-fledged new human being or a new full-fledged manifestation. There's like an incremental process that occurs. And I do think that that's something that's not always really talked about in the spiritual community, or it is, but it's misunderstood because people think that manifesting is like, oh my God, I manifested it. It's here. It's perfect. There's like no calibrations or like anything that has to be done. It's just like, boom, immediate, we're good. And I think that that can happen. But oftentimes I think that there is this like incremental energetic process of you moving towards that manifestation. So what feels like the boom, it's working, it's good, that had a track record of time before you got to that place of like the boom, is working, it's good. You know, everything needs like a foundation and kind of like a growing up process to get there. So I think it's important to remember that and remind ourselves of that. And the more that you can surround yourself with like stories of how people got there, or looking at, learning, reading, listening to stories of people that worked the process and, you know, were able to produce something and come out the other side, I think that's going to inspire you, teach you, and encourage you that it is a process, you know, and to be reminded of that. So really good messages there for pile number 2. And pile number 3, let's see what we got. I'm going to take a sip of water first. Okay, so if you picked pile number 3, we have some good cards here. So we have number 22, Road, and we have number 28, Man. So these two cards together, definitely a lot of energy of 2s here. This was actually the pile. I put a crystal by this pile. I was like, I was drawn to all of them, but I put a crystal by this one that I wanted to really hear this one the most, although they're all valid and good. And you can also view these 3 cards as a progression. So past, present, future for each individual pile. You can also view it like that, where they all are weaving the same story, which they kind of are, you know. But we have a lot of energy of 2s here, which I know for me, 2 has been a tremendously, like, I'm getting beaten over the head with like 222, 22, and a lot of 111s lately. But 22 in particular has been my numerological sequence for this year. Like, whoa, I've been seeing that like crazy. So this is saying that this is about partnerships, this is about balance, this is about duality. So these 2 cards together is about some type of road unfolding, some type of path that's now being cleared. You could see that there's snow here, but the snow is melting away. So this is like a path being cleared, which is always good, right? And then we have a man here. So a man is important to the story of this path being cleared. Some type of divine masculine or male individual, some type of inner strength too. This could be your own divine masculine, but the presence of this masculine energy, this male energy, is responsible for connected to this path that's unfolding. We also have goodbye to the old, hello to the new from the messages from the fairies. So this is definitely a card that's just really solidifying that about this like path unfolding, right? It says you finished one part of your life and now a new and even better part is beginning. And the message I'm getting here too is to not romanticize the past or feel like you should go back into the past, because it's like that was one chapter that closed. Now this is a new chapter that's unfolding. So follow the thread of the new path that's unfolding, you know. It could even be very therapeutic for you for people that pick this pile to practice, like when they go for a walk or when they go for a drive, just going down a different road and just following a new path, you know. I actually did that last night. I was feeling really, really stuck about a lot of things, and spontaneously on my drive home, I just decided to go down this like path that I hadn't been down before, this particular road. And it was a very creepy, like kind of Halloween-y night for sure, but I felt good about it. Like, okay, I've done something different. I've kind of shaken up my comfort zone a bit. And I think it's important to do that, you know. We also have Egg Moon Trust. This is number 32. So this sums up to a 5. So it's like with these changes, 5 carries the energy of change. And again, we have that strong full moon energy here in this card, but this is not quite full. This is like getting to full. You know, with these changes, it's like you might be feeling really vulnerable or anxious or afraid of like, how am I going to do this? How's this going to work out? How am I going to kind of put this all together? How is this going to take form? This is saying that you are being helped, you are being guided. And you could see this this goose here, like on the top of the egg, you know, in the nest. And it's like, your guides got this. You know, you could see like the goose is literally standing on top of this egg dome. And that the goose is like looking at the moon, so it's connected to the intuition. And there's even another, I think that the top one is I don't know if the top one is a goose or a duck, but either way, they're like a goose or a duck. And there's one on the top and there's one here. So there's like 2 sources that are guiding you, you know, and protecting you. And it's also totally random and interesting, but I actually saw an article today about that, I think it's on Wednesday in New York City, that they're looking at putting forward much more stricter laws about preventing like the force feeding of geese to, there's like this really terrible process that goes on where they basically force feed geese like extra food in order to create like a fatty liver. And then this is treated as a delicacy, which is called foie gras, if I'm saying that, foie gras, I think. It's basically fatty goose liver, which is so gross, but people eat this. I don't, because I'm pretty much vegan. And, you know, the thing is that the animals are really harmed in the process of trying to make this like delicacy. So they have been, you know, this has been, animal rights activists have talked about this before, but they're really trying to really create change. You know, as we're moving into this more compassionate, more loving new earth, we're trying to really change some of these outdated systems that are not of love. And I saw that in California, they had already passed the law that would, you know, prevent this type of behavior where the people are force feeding the geese to produce this type of thing and all of that. And I think that they said that there was only one farm, like in the entire state of California, that was still doing it, and that one closed down. And I was looking at it that they're looking at passing this legislation on Wednesday for New York City and New York, and that there was, I guess, like only 2 farms in that area that were still doing it. So for some reason, that's coming through. But I think that it's like, even with the people that are protecting you, they, you know, it's like your guides are learning through this process too. Like there's an up-leveling going on. There's a movement to higher frequencies. There's a movement to more love. Sometimes it doesn't always feel like that, you know. But I think that the more that you're able to connect with your guides and trust the process, I think the more that you'll start to see more and more examples of loving change that's happening in the world. And I think that this card is really a lot of what I was getting with that is just that there's naturally a fear of change. There's a fear that things won't get better, or that like things aren't getting better, either with yourself or like society as a whole. And I think that, the medicine of this card is a lot about understanding that things are changing and moving. I always like to say, like, the only constant in life is change. So nothing lasts forever, We also have here, let your inner beauty shine, pink rose. So that's crazy. We got 3 rose cards. There's only like a select number of rose cards in that flower therapy deck. And we got like so many of them. We got the red rose, the white rose, and the pink rose. It's crazy. So this says, you are a brilliant example of God's love. Everything about you is perfect, so let your light shine and inspire others. But in particular with this card, if you just feel into the energy of this, I'm getting a strong like Archangel Jophiel vibes with this, and Archangel Ariel. This is about, again, self-love and inner love. But if you think about the color pink, it's a blend of white and red. So this card carries the energy of bringing in that purification, that pure positive energy to clear that which doesn't serve you, but also that red rose love, which is greater frequencies of love and openness. So this card, this color pink and the energy of it is about the combining of that like clearing energy and that positive boundary energy with also the loving energy. And, if we think about like Archangel Ariel, Archangel Ariel and Archangel Jophiel are both associated with the color pink, and they're not like frilly archangels, Those archangels are very much about ensuring positive boundaries, healthy boundaries in your life that support you, make you feel good. When we say to be more loving, it doesn't mean to not have boundaries in your life. It means that maybe part of loving that person or loving yourself as a result of that experience or whatever is actually by having boundaries. That could actually be a way of love, a way of greater peace, is to have those boundaries. And it's when you try to challenge yourself, what your intuition knows about those boundaries, that actually causes you to not be of love and to not go into the situation with love, And I just published a blog post on my blog, which is a pretty lengthy post, really, really great if you're looking to learn astrology and looking to learn about your 12th house, which is a subconscious house and a hidden house. I go through actually having all different types of planets in the 12th house and what that means, and also my own reflections on having a moon in the 12th house and the energy of the 12th house. It's a really, really great article, so definitely check that out. I've shared the link on my Facebook business page. You can find it there. If you're in the Fearlessly Fairy group, you'll find it there. If you're in my general group, the Julianne Faye Cosmic Playground, you'll find it there. Also, it will be in the next email newsletter, which will come out in approximately like 2 weeks, a week and a half or so. The last email newsletter literally just came out last Friday. So, I think that's everything I want to say. Yes. So I'm so glad that you were able to get on live, Randy, and receive. And I know that lots of people will be watching this on replay. So if you caught this on replay, please leave a comment. Let me know what card pile you picked. If you're watching this on my YouTube, please do the same. And these videos are evergreens, so you can come back and you can rewatch and pick a different pile. I love pick-a-cards. I watch them all the time. And what you can do is, I guarantee you'll forget what pile you picked. And you'll either pick the same pile and like hear the same message you need to hear again, or you'll pick a different pile because at a different time you need a different pile, So pick-a-cards are just great because what they do is they match your energetic frequency for where you're at right now and what you need to hear. So it's actually very normal to come back and like pick a different pile, or maybe you're picking the same pile and that's because you need to hear that message again. So they are like little medicine videos that you can watch in that way. Love you too, sister, so much. So I'm going to clear any and all energy from this space. I want to thank all of the guides, guardian angels, archangels that were present in this space, helping and assisting with this live. And what else did I want to say? Yeah, and just if you jumped on this live later, feel free to go back and rewatch from the beginning. If you're watching this on replay, leave a comment so that I can know you are here. If you're watching this on my YouTube, please, my battery's gonna die. Please leave a comment, let me know that you are here, what pile you picked, and subscribe to my YouTube. And feel free to share this video as well. Much love. Bye, everyone. Thank you for the love hearts, Brandy. Thank you.